Love me some Shekinah. Good evening and welcome to Training SA right here on SABC3, where we help you escape the norm with exciting trends and topics. Tonight is no different. Why would it be, right? We've got some interesting conversations lined up just for you, and I am Refilwe, and helping me steer the ship are my lovely co-hosts, co-pilots. Uma Blair on my left. I love the maroon. Yo,
Okay,
what is that?
It's weird. Guys,
Okay, stop up there. Elma, can you understand what's going on here?
what just happened?
I know, right?
Can you speak in words too?
No, I'm just barking.
Okay, cool.
What?
Let's just refocus. We'll give him a moment to collect himself. Our first guest tonight is hopefully also speaking in words. Undoubtedly one of the creative forces of our generation, and through his innovative ideas, he's been able to shape and forge new technological paths. At 24, he has
24.
co-founded two tech startups, guys, JobMatcher and Lockdown Boza. Aimed at simplifying the lives of ordinary South Africans. He's just won Innovator of the Year award at the GQ Awards. We're joined by a creative powerhouse and entrepreneur, Aaron Postivis. Congratulations on your award. It recognizes some of the most inspiring and talented people changing the game. What does this award mean to you?
Thank you so much, Alma. So really, I feel honored to have been named alongside such incredible people. And I feel like it's a reflection of not only the countless hours of hard work and sleepless nights. I mean, I think last time I checked my watch, I average about 5 hours of sleep a night. But really, it is also a reflection. Really, it is a reflection of the support that I've received from those around me. From my mother, who raised 3 children on really a shoestring budget, to my life partner who's always there for me, and my business partners who always push me to learn and grow. So really, it's actually a big thank you to them.
So, Aaron, I want to know what is the Lockdown Boza app and what are you trying to achieve with it?
Yeah, so Lockdown Boza was really kind of a weekend project for us, to be honest. So myself and my business partner / best friend, Adam Romain, we wanted to do something. And at the time, everyone else was building these COVID maps. And we felt that we had to do something different and a little bit more useful. That's when Cyril called our first family meeting. And the rules there were a little bit ambiguous. And the government docs that were released afterwards were really super long. So I had the idea of using a traffic light system, which people are very familiar with. And we made it really easy for people to search for the things that are important to them. And we shared it on WhatsApp in a few groups, and I think it only went viral because it was truly, truly useful.
Well, speaking of virality, just in terms, if you can give us numbers and figures, what was the uptake when it came to users?
Yes, so we got about 1.5 million users within the first 72 hours.
Sure.
And that's actually when we noticed a little bit of a slowdown on the servers. So we had to come up with some intelligent, we had to come up with an algorithm that basically caches the data and makes it a lot easier. So everything went smoothly after that point. But yeah, we were struggling under the capacity for a little while.
Yeah, and I mean, over 8 months into lockdown, has this usage continued and been sustained? I mean, we're looking at a second wave now, so.
Everyone's a lot more familiar actually with the restrictions, and they've also eased up quite a bit. So I think people are a lot more comfortable with what the restrictions are. We're still getting some traffic, but we're really focusing all of our time and attention now into addressing other South African problems like youth unemployment and education.
Yeah.
So we have seen a massive spike in unemployment figures. It's sitting at about 30% after the third quarter of this year. But you are trying to address the rate of unemployment. How does this work?
Yeah, so actually, if you look at the youth demographic, that number is at about 55%, which is astounding. And we've got this platform called JobMatcher, and we've pivoted the business somewhat. We've been working on it for about 2 years, and it's now more of an educational platform where youth can select from fields that we've identified are really good entry-level positions. So for example, South Africa had a welding skills shortage, And South Africa actually imported around 20,000 welders from South Korea, where we could have and should have really been training South Africans here to do those jobs. So we set people up with some free basic training courses to get them to a skill level where they'll be attractive to employers. And then we then feed them some job opportunities to apply to. After that, we teach them some soft skills like how to interview effectively, digital literacy, and professional communication.
Let's talk about, just very quickly before we let you go, the Job Matcher app, as you said, has been in existence for over 2 years. Any success stories that you can share with us? Because at this time, we are dying for good news or feel good news and stories.
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest successes is all the learnings that we've made so far. We launched in February and we did over 300 jobs in just a few days. But then, of course, COVID hit us shortly after. We had to go back to the drawing board and keeping what we knew, but also asking ourselves some really hard questions. Just making jobs more accessible and safe for employers didn't seem like it was enough. We also had to tackle this issue of education. I think the schooling system doesn't do nearly enough to prep individuals for going into the working world. And COVID has just delayed us, but it's actually been something that I think will make us stronger in the long run. We're currently doing a private funding round, and we're relaunching at the start of 2021 so that we can scale things up as quickly as possible. And we've really built something now that I'm really, really proud of. And I think Job Match is a great example of a business that can make a meaningful, positive impact.
That's so cool. So tell me about micro-credentials. Is that what you're talking about, kind of upskilling people and educating, kind of filling in the gaps where the schooling system lets people down? And which skills should I be exploring, learning to perfect my hustle?
Yeah, that's a great question. So a big focus of ours is micro-credentials right now. So I'm glad you asked about it. I think being able to certify yourself and certify your ability to perform tasks that are core to a job is super, super useful. We live in a really busy world and people can't always find time to study full time without making money. You know, you kind of have to hit pause in life if you go to university or if you do something like that. Micro certifications are much smaller courses that are hyper specific. So you can complete them in the evenings or over weekends. And that way you don't have to stop your life in order to continually learn and prove that you have certain skills. But you asked another question about what should you be learning? And that's a really interesting one. I think everybody should be trying to learn, at least to some extent, how to program. And really an emerging field right now is artificial intelligence. So it sounds really big and scary as something to learn about. But there's a lot of ways to get into it that aren't that complicated.
Okay. Thank you so much, Aaron, for joining us. And congratulations on your GQ Innovators Award.
Keep on doing what you're doing. We love the energy. Really cool.
What we're going to do right now is go on a young break. That was an R&B reference. What we're going to do right now is go on an ad break. And when we come back, we have NqanaweLive and we're going to be talking all things movies. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back. You're still tuned into Trading SA right here on SABC3. So, from feature films, period pieces to rom-coms, when it comes to movies, we're spoiled for choice, actually. But that can also, you just present us with a bit of a dilemma about how to pick and what to pick, right, for the right mood and the right setting. But the holiday season is right under our noses, and it's a perfect time for a movie or two. I think it's just what the doctor ordered, especially after the year that we've had. So this is what we decided to do. Don't say we never did nothing for you. We brought in Nganawe. He's an avid movie buff and knows the ins and the outs of what you need to watch, right? What needs to be on your radar. And maybe we'll give you some ideas on how you could spend a day or two watching this festive season. Welcome to Trading SA.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. It's good to have you.
Thank you for having me.
No, let's just get into it. I want us to look at this trailer for the movie This Is Not a Burial, It's a Resurrection.
Yes.
I know I'm not gonna watch this. I don't like. No, I just don't like the music and the spirits and everything.
Okay.
This is Meritwala's one of the final projects.
Yes, it is. I think, yes.
Okay, tell us about it.
So it's basically by Lemohang Sese, he's a Basotho director, and so he made this film. It's basically about this lady played by Uma Meritwala, and she is basically grieving the last person who was in her life, which is her son, who was working in Johannesburg. And as she's going through that grief, she then finds out that they now have to be evacuated from the place they've lived in.
Oh, so it's not about ghosts and...
Absolutely not.
Oh, okay.
And do they speak, or is it all just
No, they
music like
definitely
that?
speak.
Okay, we need to acknowledge the fact that, first of all, this movie has been received with critical acclaim, right? On the international sort of film circuit, or festival circuit rather, added to the fact that I love just the moodiness of the visuals, and the South African cinematographers are not playing around when it comes to putting on a show. Yes. What impressed you about this film, and what should we be looking out for when we watch it again?
I think what you should really look out for is just how it tackles, first of all, grief.
Sure.
But also just how far a person is willing to go to keep what's dear to them. Because by the time the film starts, and this isn't, sorry to spoil it, but she's lost a lot in her life. And to lose your land, to lose it, and we all know South Africa. To lose your land, and for those taking it from you, making it seem like it's not really a big deal.
Yeah.
And it also, it uses that to actually address change and progress.
So socio-political commentary in the,
and how
is
would
what
you
they're
rate
doing.
it out of 5?
Out of 5, 3.54.
So, Losing Lerato was one of those movies that had a lot of people talking, largely because of its intense storyline about a father who kidnaps his daughter. I want us to quickly check it out.
Welcome to Johannesburg. Isn't Egoli a little more hectic than they are in Mafeking?
There was a terrible car accident this morning. So I'm here to take Lerato home.
Tell us why this movie moved so many people. Like, why did people fall in love with this movie?
I think mostly because it took a perspective that's not usually explored in South African cinema and in general. But first of all, it frames itself in the trailer as father kidnaps kid, daughter. But when you really watch the film, you find that, obviously there's more to that than that. And in those things, unfortunately, most of them will be spoilers. When you really watch the film, you find that it's a lot of things that people resonate with, but are kind of like, they don't want to speak about them because they might not be politically correct or socially acceptable. So to see a film like that, it's almost like when someone tweets or says something you've been thinking about for a while, you're like, type of thing. So at least that's what I gathered from it.
Also did well on the international festival circuit as well. What do you think those overseas markets appreciated about this? Which is, of course, difficult.
Yes, I think just
difficult question.
I think it's just the heart of the film. For me, above everything else, just forget what's on screen behind the scenes. The fact that Ukagiso Mutube is one of the first producers to actually pay royalties to his actors, cast crew.
Look at that!
Independent and it's self-funded.
Yes.
So it's really especially for other filmmakers watching it's a very important film in South Africa. Just apart from what actually happens within the film itself, behind the scenes is very.
You speak about the actors.
Yes.
Who are the actors that give amazing performances in this movie?
Himself, Kagiso Mudupi does. I know it's his film, but he really doesn't. He doesn't just ride off of the fact that it's my film. I could just. He really carries the film, and his daughter, which is actually his real life daughter. Yes.
Really?
Yes.
So this is another pursuit of happiness.
That's maybe levels above. I don't know.
Yes.
All right, we're going to put a pin in it right there. Stay with us because after the break, Nkanawe is still unpacking some movies with us. So don't go anywhere. We're still giving you some tips on some great stuff you can check out during this holiday period.
Okay, welcome back to Training SA. We're still talking movies with Nkanawe in studio with us. Now, South Africa has released some hard-hitting, cinematic, and extremely thought-provoking movies in the last couple of months. We have gone deep. Let's talk about these movies and why they are, or maybe are not, a watch for you, particularly for this festive season. Let's start with Knuckle City. Tell us about this movie.
Oh, okay. So Knuckle City is the third feature film by arguably the greatest working South African director currently, Jamile Esikhuega, and it follows the life of a boxer, Ututu Nyagama, who's played by Bongile Manzai. Sure. And it's a boxing, it packages itself as a boxing movie, but it's really about the life of a boxer, and boxers are very disciplined, but does that translate into their real lives?
Into their intimate lives, right?
Into their intimate personal
What's that American movie about something similar? The guy that loses his whole livelihood, and he was a boxer as well. It reminds me of that story where it looks as if it's about boxing.
Southpaw?
Southpaw, yes.
Okay. So is it on that tip?
Yes, very much so.
Okay.
Very much so.
All right.
But the amazing thing is you'll get to hear people speaking Xhosa and you'll be able to recognize and relate to what is on screen.
High-octane, riveting. It's a very authentic film.
I particularly enjoyed the dialogue on this one. And you know, when you're just like, for once you don't have to do like cultural translation with what's going on screen. This is home. You can relate to it.
Out of 5?
4.5, 4.7, 4.8, 4.9. I could give it a 5, but
I love it. I feel like you should. Just give it a 5.
Okay, cool.
Give Jamil a 5.
That's definitely in my watch list.
And even if you're not a boxing person.
Absolutely, even if you're not a boxing person. Because like I said, it doesn't package itself as a boxing film, but it's really about something, it's about family actually. Family and, like I said, discipline and...
So boxing is just the vehicle.
It is.
Now, the next movie on the list is one that I've wanted to see for a long time, but it's because my dad fought in this war and the backdrop is riveting enough for me to be interested in the subject matter. Yes. But there's a lot more to Morphy than the war, right?
Absolutely.
What makes it so compelling?
So when I watched it, I just watched 2 years prior to that of another film similar to it, but not really, called Ganari. And for me, it's a queer film, right? It's a queer film, and it explores how, at that time at least, what it is like to be queer in South Africa during that time, but also being conflicted about the politics of South Africa. Obviously.
And being the oppressor whilst being oppressed yourself as a queer person.
Whilst being oppressed. And also looking at that and realizing this shouldn't be happening, but not really having a voice and literally being in the worst situation to even try and combat that.
I've read that it is basically toxic masculinity personified.
1,000%. 1,000% it is.
And
sorry. Yes.
Out of 5?
Out of 5. Also 3.5.
3.5.
Yes.
So the movie that I must go and watch is Knuckle City.
Without a doubt, I would.
and I guess I feel like you're saying Knuckle City, but really anything by Jamil Kubega. Basically, go ahead and do that.
Yes, well, no, 100%. Which is off good report. So the winter Knuckle City. Go watch the movie.
There you go. All right. Fantastic.
All right. So on that note, we've compiled a list of South African actors. We've got Warren Masimula, Zolisa Xaluva, Bongile Manzai. We've got Steve Ngesi, and amongst others, who featured as leads in South African films this year. Yes. Who would you actually tip as that one guy or girl from all the movies that came out this year that you see them just like baba in Hollywood? And
so I would say I probably have 3 answers. Probability, I would say Warren Masimula, because above everything else, Black is King.
Yeah.
The versatility as well, right?
Versatility,
Sure.
yes. But I would put my money on Bongile Manzai. That's who I would put my money on. And then, but I also would like to mention, she starred in Knuckle City. She's starring in Valedictory, Jamalexis Kroe's coming film. Awe to Hleli, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
She was, you saw Knuckle City. She didn't carry the film, but when she came in, oh my God, she was just on another level.
It's, you know how Tiffany Haddish like did the things with Girls Trip
Yes.
and almost took the the spotlight from everybody.
Actually, we did
It's that
forget.
kind of thing.
We did forget about
we forgot about all of it.
We forget about that. Yeah, no, she was amazing.
we forgot about all of it. But obviously the festive season is upon us and many people indoors trying to keep away from the crowds, you know what I mean? Best movies that we can binge on that you think we need to keep an eye on that didn't make this list?
I'm gonna go for just like, cult classics.
Yeah.
Movies you can't really go wrong with. I think when you go comedy, Superbad,
Oh, I love Superbad.
You can't go
Yeah.
wrong with Superbad.
Yes.
But also,
and tell us why. Tell us why and tell us who's in it.
It's okay, so it's starring young Jonah Hill. It's
Yeah.
by Seth Rogen, young Seth Rogen. It stars, sorry.
Michael Cera as
Michael
well, isn't it? So
Cera,
he's that
yes.
goofy, awkward guy,
Yes.
and yeah.
And it's for me, I just love the innocence of people who just wanted to make a very nice film about what they went through in high school and
Yeah.
life. And they just made a very authentic film. And I think that's why it is even a cult classic. It's funny, it's hilarious. You never get bored.
Yeah.
You ask yourself if you've never watched it, what took so long?
I still use phrases from Superbad. I'm like,
Yes.
is it in? And if you know, you know, and if you don't know, I don't know. I'm just saying, it's going to give you a lot of insight.
I didn't enjoy it.
Really?
I didn't enjoy it. I think my problem is that I watched Knocked Up before it, and I really was into Knocked Up, and I sort of like saw the same kind of vibe.
Yeah.
But it was older. But let me watch it with a fresh eye.
This is the king of stoner film.
Absolutely.
One more.
Ooh, one
They're
more.
rushing us for time, but I want one more from you.
Ooh, can I say a South African film?
Yeah, of course.
Please go, guys, please go watch Matwetwe. Please.
Is it?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
It's beautiful. It's so touching. Once again, it feels like home.
I'm also gonna watch Five Fingers for Masai.
Five Fingers for Masai.
Yes,
Do
I'm
that.
gonna watch that. I'm actually gonna go and binge on South African movies this festival.
Let's do it, guys. Let's do
that,
it.
please.
It is a promise. Nganawe, thanks so much for your time
Thank you for having
today.
me. Thank you for
I'm so
having me.
inspired. Guys, we are doing amazing things in the creative sphere, so go out and support. And that's how Training SA helps you escape the norm. Join us again tomorrow as we wrap up the week with our roundtable discussion, sports roundup, as well as a little something cheeky, a little something naughty. See you then.
Woo.